Okay, welcome back from your Thanksgiving holidays. It's been long. All right, homework 2 and homework 3. I ask you to do that. More importantly, some of you probably knew the homework 2 is very, very important. And I want you to uh, understand all the procedures, how and what uh, will do for some of the automatic uh, management if you do the similar script and register it in cron tab. Okay, that is one of the utmost goal of knowing and therefore administering the Linux operating systems. So please, if you do not complete it yet, I want everybody uh, to do some of the things with the cron tab on your own. Do not copy from somewhere or someone else. I want you to do it by yourself. That way you can learn. At least at the completion of this class, if you understand the cron tab with the scripting, then I would say it is your success. Okay. Another mechanical stuff. Your final exam, as I posted on announcement. Have you noticed all? Afalabi, what's your final exam? You should come here, right? Huh? That's what I'm asking you. Oh, your friends is taking this course on behalf of you? Oh, is that right? Why? Same, same question. A little bit tougher question, but same style. It's not really tough, but thing is this. I may not ask you exact same one I made. I made some because whole purpose of taking midterm and final is for you to understand more and better. What I'm going to do is I'm going to retake a few questions from your midterm. Exact same question. I did this a couple of times in my life. I repeat. I'm going to give you the same question, not exact same question. Or if I take it, I'm going to take exact the same question, but not all of the midterm. Few questions that you students made more mistakes for the final exam. Then still some students miss the final exam. They don't care, right? Some students do not really care about the exam. I do not know why. But I want you to really take care of your final exam, okay? If you spend your time a little more than usual, then you get good credits, okay? Topics that we have to cover. We are so far on the schedule, pretty much. Two topics. One, the networking, halfway through already. So what I'm going to do today, I'm going to finish up networking quick. And then the rest of today, and then half next week. I'm going to cover web services, how you can install Apache web server, and something more from there. and also some security issues. And not just installation of web servers, but manage the securities and also the control the user accesses and document manipulations. Some documents that you can provide, even if they are in the same directory, you can handle it. You can say, hey, I want to show this to you, but I'm not going to show this type of documents to anyone through the internet access, so through the web browser. Okay, that type of things will be discussed next week. So that's real benefit to you. So don't miss. I want you to start Ubuntu. And then we can see together some of the files, okay? So what we are going to do is the network interfaces, okay? To do that, you have to log in. And go to etc directory and ls. Then there is a network and interfaces. So cd network. So where are we? If I type pwd, then I am in /etc/network, and there some additional directories: if down, if up, if pre, if post, and interfaces. And there is a file, individual file called the interfaces. How can we see interfaces? The file. How can we open it? Cat will scroll all, more, less. There are so many other such things, right? If you do more, then it can show you page by page. Another thing that you could do is if you type view followed by the file name, you know, vi, that is the editor, right? But view is not the editor, but viewer. The beauty of reading documents using view is that you can do almost all the character sets, control character sets as VI editor mode. So those who knows VI editors can enjoy view to view any documents. So view and interfaces. So what is there? We have only this, 2 lines, right? Interfaces, file used by if up and if down. And I have only two lines of code, two stanzas. Auto LO, iFace LO, iFace, so interface, iFace means interface. So we have interface command followed by LO. What do you think LO is? LO is a loop back. Loop back. Loop. What is a loop back? If you access some of the website, some of the site host, it doesn't go out from my system. There's always LO address. So if you want to develop some of the work within your local host, you better do LO. So LO is given by default. So auto LO, and then there's interface LO in our internet, and then it's called the loopback. All right, and this is a file content of the file interfaces using the viewer called view. How can I exit this view? How can you exit VI mode? Colon Q find. Escape, colon Q find. Same keystrokes will be used, but it is not editable. You cannot change anything. Okay, that is the beauty of this. As you can see, so here loopback interface. What it does is that when we want to talk to our own system across the network, loopback interface prevents us from actually leaving the computer. That's what loopback. It is given a reserved IP address. Loopback has its own IP address. That's what we looked at last time, right? This is the content of that loopback interface, right? We already looked at that. So LO is named for loopback interface. Auto, what do you mean by auto LO? It means it brought up automatically on boot. iFace means there's interface. So there is some command that you could do. What it does is if config. If you say if config, there's interface configuration file. Windows operating system has a similar command. There's IP configuration. IP configuration. Internet protocol configuration. It gives us the same similar return. If we do it on Windows, for example, IP config, it gives us, oh, there's so many right now from my, okay. Then first of all, Windows IP config, host name is whatever that. And then we have a MAC address. I have a wireless LAN adapter, Ethernet adapter, this is Bluetooth. So local area connections. There's a disconnect. wireless. Right now I have only wireless LAN, right? This is it. Similarly, I have that network configuration here. First of all, I have ETH0 Ethernet. Some of you might have different, not all system has the same. But you might have LO. Anybody do not have LO? Loop back. And this is something about loop back, I think. Somewhere here. Loopback address is 127.0.0.1. There's always loopback address, INET address, and mask is 255.0.0.0. And then some receiving and transmission packets. Collision 0 so far. So I have LO and ETH. This is the Ethernet. This will be done a little after this. If you do not have ETH, I want you to try this. ifconfig ETH0 up. So probably your Ethernet connection will be up. Can you do? And after that, try this ifconfig if you have that Ethernet components. You can also edit your interfaces as we tried, right? For example, if you want to do the way it is, sometimes if you change it for some reason, well, this is not going to work because ours is not static. So don't try this. If you have a static IP and your Ethernet is the static connection, not wireless, not DHCP, a static IP, then you may add that up. Okay. I'm sure none of you have static IP in this classroom. Me neither, right? But we all have ETH0. What is INET? So normally TCP IP v4 is referring to, I mean, INET, it refers to TCP IP version 4. If you're using IP version 6, it should be INET 6. If you need to set up DHCP, then you have to do this way. Auth ETH0, ETH INET, DHCP. Okay. We all have this. If you have more than one way of Ethernet communication, then you could have ETH0, ETH1, ETH2. For example, ETH0, that is static IP, ETH1, there's a dynamic, EH2, whatever you do, wireless LAN. If you want to set up a static for ETH0, then you need to have address, IP address, at net mask, network, and broadcast. All the IP number should be available. Once you edit it, then because you change it, you need to stop the previous configuration. How can you stop the previous configuration? That is this. This is the command that you need to do. Okay? But this can be done in our case also. Shall we try? For example, you need to do sudo /etc/init initial d. I want to initiating daemon for networking. There is a slash missing. And then restart. Then it asks me to enter my password. This can be done separately. For example, network stop. Then it'll stop so that ifconfig, there's an error, right? But if I do start, let me see if my web browser is running. I can also try ping www.cnn.com. Okay. What can I? Oh, here. Up and minimize. Right. This is a server issue. That's pretty much what we need to do for network. Okay. And another command that you may need is IP tables. If you type let's see, IP tables and what else? Let's try this. IP tables minus L minus B. My system is at home. Let's wait. Meanwhile, you can try some other network programming. Oh, something? No. Oops. What happened? Oh, because I stopped. Error currently insert type tables operation not needed. Is this sudo needed? Oh yeah, some sudo issue. So for the output, policy accept zero package, all zero packets. Nothing is going on this server. Of course, there is no one is accessing my server right now. There are useful commands that you may use for networking listed here. dmessages gives you all the installation or booting procedures stored in this message. ifconfig is a network configuration. netstat, this is status about net, and route issue, and some of the things that you can diagnose your networking using ping, fingo, who, host, trace route. Those are all the commands that you can use. And there is also other the software that you may use, which is Wireshark, TCP dump, and some others. Okay, so we'll take a look at some of those. dmessages. So program helps user to print out their boot up messages. So while it is booting up, see what happens. So dmesg, then it gives you, that's just command, right? dmesg gives you all the information. So for example, dmesg and more, then you can see page by page. From here, initializing CP group and Linux version 3.16, GCC version, and some of the boot up procedures stated. Okay. And ifconfig, we looked at that. For example, I have configured Ethernet connection 0, then you can see the ETH0 information, right? So hardware address, INET address, and broadcast, receiving and transmitting collisions, those information gives to you. Netstat is another powerful command. So you can see very, very useful information if you type netstat. Okay, it takes a little seconds and then it gives you the tables. For example, if we want to do by page, then we can see more clearly what it means for each column. For example, first column is talking about protocol, so TCP, and then receive TCP and receive Q0, Q0, Q number 1, and send Q, local address and destination address and state. Those are described, okay, by using netstat. If you want to, netstat can give you a routing table also, routing table if you do minus all. So netstat minus all, and then it gives you a routing table. Right now I have 2 rows available. Gateway 192.168.152.2, that is a gateway for and mask is a 0.0.0.0, and flags UG mess. What is it? And Windows and internet interface. So both are ETH0. Some destination and gateway mask. Those are available in the table, routing table. Okay. Currently. So actual routing table is in this file, prog, net, and route. So if you do ls process and net, and then there is route, table route. So if you want to see it, sudo more, then route. Then you can see similar information, but information here written in hexacode. Okay. For example, destination 00000000, 8 zeros in hex, which means 4-byte long numbers. This is nothing but 0.0.0.0. And another row, it says 0009888C0, which is this. See, this hexacode is very interesting. This is sort of, it's a small Indian, right? Low Indian, which means Indian, right? The last 2 digits is the most significant number, C naught. C naught, what is C naught? Hexacode C0. C0 means 16 times C, A, B, C. So 10, 11, 12. 12 times 16 is what? That is this number, 192. Is it? I don't know. Do I have a calculator here? I have a calculator here, right? How can I use the calculator? Calc, right? Let's see. So 12 times 16, 192. Okay. So 192 comes from this number, C0. A8, A means 10, 8 means 8. So 10 times 8 is 80. So, no, 6, 8, 10. No. This is 8. A means 10. So 10 times 16. So 160 plus 8. So 168. That is this. Okay. So in hex here code, the significant hexacode appears later. Okay. This is the Endian code. But anyway, so netstat command gives you some status of network interfaces. Part of that command that can give to you is routing information, routing table information. So routing table is available in this directory, as we could see, right? So if you look at this, then you can see, for example, destination or gateway. So you can interpret this hexacode. What is a gateway? Gateway is, for example, C0, then that is 192, and A8 means 168. 98 means 9 times 16 plus 8, as we looked at earlier. So what is it? Right, 9 times 16 and plus 8 equals 152. Then that is this number, 152. All right. That is a route. Route command gives you the routing table. Okay. Other useful command is ping. Finger usually these days not available, right? Is it available here? Finger? Finger currently not installed. It's not by default. But long time ago, the Linux and Unix operating system has a finger. What it does is that when I was a student, 1980s, then we all are in the same Unix servers. So faculty members comes in the Unix server, and students also comes in the Unix server. So first thing that we check in the morning is finger, so that professors are on the system. We need to check whether professors are on the system. So without approaching to his offices, so we know, oh, these faculty members already came, and things like that. So it is so convenient because every time while we are at work, every time on the, everybody is working on the same platform, That time we use finger, who, so much. Another thing is Wireshark. Okay, do we have a Wireshark here? We do not have, right? Shall we install Wireshark? That is homework number 3, right? How can you install it? Sudo apt get install Wireshark. If it doesn't understand, then you have to find out what it is. But Wireshark, it works, right? Very well. Due is tonight, right? What I want from you is, after you install this, and then run it, so that you can capture the screen. Wireshark, then it runs on your Linux operating systems. Wait, it works like this, right? This is your Linux Wireshark. You can start. Right now, nothing, because no interaction. So if I do some, so we probably have, let me find out. Where is my Wireshark? Is the Wireshark? No. Oh, this is Wireshark. Still not? Right. Maybe interface issue. Oh, Bluetooth. There's no Bluetooth. Can I open my Bluetooth? Clear, save, oh, here. So what I can do is, I need to, okay. I need to see the available interface. Oh, only I have Bluetooth, which is no good. So start. It's not good. So interface. Do I have still one? captures media sample. Wait a minute. Capture option. This is capture option. But I don't like this. What about yours? You have your own. Interfaces, right? Mine has some problem. So you can choose your interface other than Bluetooth. Of course, if I have Bluetooth and pairing with the other Bluetooth communication, then we can see it, yeah, see the packets. But anyway, in this way, it works. Should work. That's fine. Yeah, look back, stroke. Okay. So as far as you install Wireshark and show some of the packet capturing, yeah, and then submit it. There's one of the homework 3. I wanted to install Wireshark and run it, plus one more packages that you are interested in. If you are interested in some some compiler, for example GCC or Python, Java, anything that is not really Java C is running. Yeah. Java C cannot found. Oh, Java C is not here. So you can install Java, for example, JDK, right? Or Python. Python is default here, but the version of Python is 2.7.6. I wanted to upgrade. Of course, there is a Python 3. Python 3. Yeah, Python 3.4. But Python 3.4 is still outdated. Right now, a Python 3.5 or 3.6 version also available. So you could install Python program interfaces. There are a lot of packages not installed on your Linux, so that I want you to do, right? So Wireshark installation plus one more. That is the requirement of homework 3. The problem of mine is last night when I was working on this, I had some system issue. That's the only reason. But other than that, it should work. Another thing is that you can try at home. Mhm. Unless you explicitly misconfigure your network, by default it should work. So another way that you could do is you can create another guest operating systems, brand new, and install Wireshark, then it should work. Some of the interfaces is blocked while you are working on something else. That's what I had. Okay. Interfaces should be there. Okay. Next module. The last module of this semester is a web hosting, web service. Okay. So we're going to learn this and then practice. Web hosting, if you run web hosting business, or you are subscribing and using the web hosting capabilities provided by someone else, then you probably need to run web pages, websites of yours by borrowing someone else, right? Simply HTML. Or FTP, if you want to transfer the files through that server to someone else, then FTP is another services that you can get. What FTP stands for? File Transfer Protocols. SSL is another secure socket layer, so that you can, through the secure socket layer, you can get some session, user session, and finally shell of operating systems. So you can do much more than you can expect. Everything that you learn here can do over the web hosting servers or video and audio. What we will do here in this lecture, in this module, we are not going to do anything but something with HTML. Okay, that is easier and simple. Web hosting can be done in basically two platforms, Linux or Windows. So Windows we're not going to do because this is a Linux administration course. So we'll work on Linux-based web hosting. As you might know, there's some pros and cons. Windows is easy to start, but not secure. Oh, it was wrong. That's great. But Windows has some vulnerability issues, security issues, a lot of such. Linux, the operating system itself, provides you all possible mechanisms. So even if you run simply HTML documents, you can handle much. Okay, that's what we are going to learn. Some of you took 359 website administration course. There you learn serviceability most likely, but here more security issues. All right, at the end of this module. First, we have to learn very similar the mechanism that you could learn from other course. Web server is a system configured to answer HTTP request. So when you set up HTTP server, actually what we are going to do here is not HTTP server, but Apache server. So we're going to do Apache server. They are very similar. And in any case, there are two ports available: port number 80 and port number 443. Of course, you can switch to another port if you like. Okay. Then when user access to your web server, you have to provide the port number also. For example, www.mercy.edu, that is the URL. If you do http:// then it goes through port number 80. If it is https S for secure, then 443, right? Two ports are designated, but you can use some other ports if you want. That is fine. But in such case, if you want someone else to access your web server, then you have to let them know, so that they need to spell out all the way to that port number. For example, www.mercy.edu : followed by the port number. Instead of 80, instead of 443, if you choose, for example, 6789, then you have to provide that number so that it can come in. I mean, anyone can come through that port. So URL is the address that you can access the web servers, starting with the www. So a URL has 5 parts, starting with the protocol, usually HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol, followed by IP address, or we call that domain name. If you have a static IP address, if you subscribe to static IP address, then you might have, for example, 133.43.53.95. That's specific IP address. And also, if you purchase domain name, and domain name is handled by DNS, domain name services, of course you have to register it, and then you have to keep that domain name by paying regularly some amount of money. Then that domain name server converts to, for example, if you type infosec.org, that is the domain name. That is actually the domain name that we used to have here, owned by me. I'm not sure it's still there. I didn't pay last a few years. But anyway, if that is it, then if you type www.infosec.org, then it search the name, and then that nickname is replaced with the IP number internally when your packet is transmitted, right? Remember, destination and source addresses are all written the number, not by nickname. So it should be converted into that number, although you simply type www that much study deep internally. And then another part is a port. If your web server uses designated port 80 for HTTP and 443 for HTTPS, if you use those numbers, then you do not have to worry about. Other than that, you have to specify it. Port number. After IP address, you have to put colon followed by port number. And finally, after that, you have to do slash. Slash is where? When you put slash. For example, here, we can try. In our web, do we have a web? Okay. So if I say here localhost, this guy. This is not something that we installed, right? But anyway, this is by default it says. Okay, but if I do, this localhost is loop back. So if I do 127.0.0.1, then it gives us the same. But if you say something else, 1.2, then it's 2. HTTP colon 129.1.2.3, then what happens? And the port number 90. Of course, there's no such. Oh, it changed it by itself. But anyway, it's not going to work, right? But after that, you can, for example, 127 dot. After that, if you say index dot, why it does by itself? 127.0.0.1 slash index.html. That is actually is, right? But if you say main.html, there's no such files, right? And if you say colon a particular port and index.html, there's no such files, right? If you see this address, then this is IP colon followed by port number and slash followed by the first page, index.html. You may have question where that index.html file is located. Therefore, you could do something else. You can create some other files, right? That's what we want to learn a little after that. So there's a directory and then file name. It's a case sensitive because it is running on Linux. If you do FTP, then there's another protocol. If you want to do telnet, then that is on a telnet itself is a protocol. So telnet colon and some, or file colon something. So those are written here. HTTP, HTTPS, FTP, news, JavaScript, file, mail to, telnet, or LDAP. LDAP is very similar to in Windows, what is it called? X. LDAP is a university products. That is the first products that deal with directory and identity. Okay, LDAP stands for Lightweight Directory Access Protocol. Directory. It runs on Linux, Unix, Solaris, developed in University of Michigan about 20 years ago. And in recent years, the Microsoft developed for Windows directory access protocol. It is called, I forgot that. Anybody can help? Access, is it called? There's similar packages running on Windows, similar package to LDAP. What it does is that you have one login. For example, at Mercy is Microsoft products oriented. So if you log in one laptop, you can log in other laptop, although you do not have your login control, but it is controlled by some other server, extra server. It is called
MSDN?
No. Active Directory. Thank you. Active Directory. That is the Windows version of LDAP. Okay. Very similar to that. Okay. So there is LDAP. There's a lot more than this. Okay. So what HTTP? HTTP is Hypertext Transfer Protocol. HTTP defines how messages are formatted and transmitted. And also HTTP is a stateless protocol. Once it is connected, then immediately disconnected. Right? That's all what you have. So usually if you run web server, then you may provide, for example, 5 users concurrently. Still okay, some cases. 5 users concurrently. One user can access one page, quick and stop, and still 5 available. With the 5 concurrent users, you can serve maybe 10,000 users. They are not logging in and staying connected with your server. So that is fine. It's stateless. Web server also has CGI, Common Gateway Interface. What it does is that if you have a HTTP protocol, there is this back end, there is a database. So between the web server and database, there is not necessarily database, but some other service programs running back end. So your web server needs to connect. Sometimes connected to LDAP, sometimes connected to the database, sometimes connected to some others, right? So there needs some gateway. So that's a common gateway interface needed. It's called the CGI. So CGI can handle some communication between the two different components for the one purpose, which is web services. CGI is usually is a target for attack, website attack, because where there is a lot of interfaces going on. So this is the program that you could see. For example, user, you can follow the number. User is browsing the websites. Then it comes into web server first. And then actually this guy, I want to do some emails. Then through this CGI script, it linked with the email server. And that email needs to go out. Then again, it comes back to CGI and through that web server, and it can go out. Same thing for database, same thing for operating system command, and same thing for something else. So CGI script is really something that you need to know. So CGI script can be C, Perl, Python, whatever the scripting languages, or PHP. All right. So what we will do is we are going to install LAMP. Anybody has tried to install LAMP before? LAMP stands for Linux, Apache, MySQL, PHP, all three bundled. You may need to download. Should we? No, not necessarily. Because the Linux installation is very simple, right? So we will do that after 15-minute break. Okay. Before we install LAMP, actually next week the session is expected to be short because not much that we need to do. What we will do for the rest, we're going to review for your final. As I posted already, the final exam covers everything. Why? Because the Linux, we cannot say, oh, you should know up to this point for midterm and the rest for the final. It's like a programming language, like Java course. Then, although there is something that you have to focus, some chapters that you can focus, but the final, if you do not know the first half, almost impossible to understand the second half. Similarly, Linux, the second half is more advanced, but without knowing some primitive Linux command and file structures, you may not understand still the second half. So whole points of final exam and the way that I ask you to study is everything about the Linux discussed in this semester. Okay, so from the beginning lecture to the end. But if you know already the first half, now you can focus on the second half. But if you do not get high enough scores, then I wanted to study the first half also. Question. Screenshots is running. For example, if there's a file or Wireshark, then Wireshark that is running on this Ubuntu, which is not therefore Wireshark on Windows. Right. As far as it's running on Windows, Ubuntu over yours, fine. So Wireshark, and then one more. Fine. Any other? Correct. Fine. Yeah. Mhm. Oh, there is on. Good question. There is always on somewhere. Let's find out. Yeah, somewhere up. So many places. So how can you find it? I tested you, right? You can do where and which to command, so that you know where that. No, we don't. In the Linux operating Ubuntu or Linux operating systems, it should be in the right place. It's not like a Windows system. In Windows, you can install the way that you want, right? Therefore, it's not really managed properly by operating systems. But Linux uh, installation site is not only one site, one place, one directory. Source file is in another directory. Binary executable files in another. Some logging files in another. So all different places. It dispersed more than one place. All right, that's a good question. Back to our LAMP. LAMP has basically 3 packages in it. Okay, up until long time ago, even we are working on Linux, we need to download the LAMP separately, and then we install it. But now we do not need to, right? So it's much more convenient. What LAMP contains is that it has an operating system platform, which is Ubuntu, and then a web server, Apache, rather than HTTP, database, MySQL, rather than Oracle, web language, PHP, rather than Perl or Python. Okay. So this is the way that you need to install. Let's try all together. So start your Ubuntu again. What did you say? Ubuntu is not working? You have to. Okay. Before you install, I want you to update all the packages that is known by your Ubuntu. Sometimes some packages is not available, it's not known, then you have to specify, as we looked at I think few sessions ago, right? That's in your class notes. Okay, so let's update all the packages known by our system. Okay, so reading package list done, my case. In the package list stored on the Linux Ubuntu systems, there is a one location where there's it describes package name and then URL. So if this package needs to be updated, then it goes to that URL. If some packages that not previously known by Ubuntu, but you need to install, then you have to either manually update it, or you can follow the slide that I posted, I think 2 sessions ago. After you update everything, then you need to do sudo apt get install now Apache. The name of the Apache package is Apache 2. Apache number 2. In my case, has been installed already, so nothing can be. Oh, did I do this? Already. See here, already newest version. Then yours is already there. How do you know you cannot find it? The way that you can find it here. If you go to etc and ls, then there is Apache 2 directory. If you have Apache 2 directory like this, if you have this directory, then you have to change your mind, your mindset. This is Linux. It's not Windows. Okay. Here, which Apache 2, then that is the location. And if you type where is Apache 2, then those are the directories, pieces of Apache 2 files located. It's not just this, something like toy Windows. Okay. There's a command. You didn't do midterm exam. Why you forgot? Did you forgot or you didn't know that? The reason for that is you didn't know where that Apache 2 is. So I want you to find out. If you type which Apache 2, then it gives you where that command program located. Okay, so which tells you the location of that application program actually executed. So binary file is located in that. So Apache 2 binary file is located in USR SBIN. And where is gives you a list of all available locations where Apache 2 related files are located. Okay? He's not listening to. Okay, fine. Okay. So now you have the Apache 2. Then we can test it by running web server. What you need to do is type localhost. If you type localhost, this is a web page. Actually, this is not what I want, but it is actually. So where is that web page located? That is in cd var/www. If you come here, then there is HTML. Okay, then cd HTML. Can you come forward? You can come here. You can come up front. Finish. Yeah. There's always pros and cons. If I increase this, you cannot see all. So this is the location. Web pages is located here. So see, this is too much. This whole thing, what is the size of this? 11 kilobyte, almost 11 page long documents. So we can change it for our test, shall we? So what I want to do is I can change this index, move index.html to Apache page, Apache page.html. Okay. Permission. So what we can do is sudo then instead of index.html, I have Apache page.html. Okay. This is not index.html. Index.html is now assumed to be the first file to search. Look here. If I do this, this is a web browser. When I typed only local host, I didn't put, for example, here slash index.html. Of course, if I do index.html, then there's no such file. Why? Because I renamed it, right? There's not there. This index.html is by default the first page that is already specified in some configuration file. We'll look at that next week. Okay. Today, only if you say localhost, and if we have index.html file, then this, for example, like this, then that it is the evidence that is running, right? In this way. For random, I do not know. It takes time. If I want to do, then it takes time. Another thing is that if you want to restart random, you may do this. Your Apache 2 may not be running. Then what you need to do is sudo etc. Right, exactly, but not like Windows system. Turn it off and on. You have to do it in this way, command based. Init. Let's say first cd etc init.d. Okay, that is the demand initialization. So we have to see there's a Apache 2 programs, right? So go to Apache. Wait a minute. Apache 2 itself is a program. Okay, great. So what you need to do is sudo etc init.d Apache 2 and restart. Then Apache 2 server will be shut down and restart. Watch. Okay. If you have the, oh yeah, this is also okay. Yeah, if you have this screenshot, it okay. Yeah, okay. If you have this okay, then Randall, did you do this? Yeah. Why are you trying to do the minimum things? I want you to do something, some expose, some. Okay, cool, cool. Okay. Um, Now let's go back to our web server. Okay. I mean the web page itself. cd var www slash html. Okay. And then what we want to do here, echo works index.html. Ah, permission denied. Bash index. Wow. Yeah, echo issue. So simply we do index.html, vi index.html. Not many students following it. I want you to do this. Okay. I know, Randall, you're doing that. You're good. Uh, Upload is good. Yeah. Yeah. Whatever editor that you are using. Yeah, Nano or gedit or vi. I'm vi guy. I'm too old, right? Vi. But if you know vi, as I said, where there is a Linux micro compiler, micro kernel, there is the vi. So you can touch it wherever you are. So vi, and then you can do, it works. Escape, ZZ. Oh, permission. Why this? Because I have to do sudo vi. It works. Escape, ZZ. All right. So what I have right now, I have two files, HTML index.html and this is original HTML, but I renamed it, and I'm going to back to my web browser and then reload. It works, right? Does it work? It says, right? All others is now, if you know HTML, then you can do it. Okay. If you want to make another, for example, sudo okay. I want to copy this index.html file to my home directory so that tilde slash, that's it. This is another thing that you need to understand. Can anyone see what this means? This command? CP for copy, right? CP is a copy. Index.html, that is the file currently in the same directory, right? So far, it's not a problem. What about this? Tilde slash. Tilde means my home directory. Tilde. Slash means top. So top directory of my home. Make sense? Tilde slash means top of my home directory. So if now we can go back to my home directory. How can I go back to my home directory? cdn. No, simply cd. It should work. As you said, cd slash, cd tilde slash, same thing. When I come here, then I have index.html. Where is it? Yeah, here. What we will do now, make directory www, and then move index.html to www. In this case, I use the command move, mv. Move means similar to copy, but copy, when I do copy, then original remains. I have another version. There's a copy. Move means cut and paste. Exactly. Thank you. So if I do ls www, then I have index.html. Index.html has only one line. It works, right? See if that can be seen here in our web browser. In this case, what we need to do is I have to do tilde JYOON. It's not founding, right? JYOON. So one thing that we have to more. So cd www where there is index.html. So I need to mkdir html folder and then move index.html to html. I want to see if it works. Otherwise, we have to test another way. What did I do so far? I moved this file to another directory, subdirectory, HTML. And then I can test if it works. It is not. Then another option is, I can move HTML, that directory itself, to my home directory. Then I can try. Still not work? Huh. None of them will work? Or public cp html index.html to public. Find out. I think some configuration needs to be done. So we will do this configuration next week. As is, it is not. Okay. It works only for the server side. Oh, this? we can find out the configuration file altogether. Where is that configuration file located for this web Apache server configuration? It is in cd etc cd I stated that here. Configuration Apache 2 configuration. So Apache 2, then there is Apache 2 config. This is the file that we need to take a look at. So more Apache 2 conf, there is a configuration. We need to read this very carefully. Server root is not etc/Apache 2. If you open this, if you comment this out, then server root will be that. Right now, server root is, we'll find out. And then timeout is 300 millisecond, keep alive on, and keep alive timeout, and user in group information, and host name lookup off. Error log, if there is any error should be in this log file. And some other configuration. And then there is a directive access control. For example, top directory should be accessed in this way. User shares in this way. var www in that way. And all of that. And then there is any web page. If you want to set up user ID and password, so only those who have login and password can access. If you want to set up, then we have to handle this. So we'll do that next week. This is very, very interesting. Another configuration. All the log files are in this format. This is a log format. And include the options. Oh, this is it only. Then port configuration and well, anyway, there's another configuration. It tells you where individual user should have their website, web pages. Therefore, once you have your login shell, and then you can set up your own web pages. The address that you can access to it in this way. If this is your legal login, then slash and then tilde. Tilde is your home, right? Whose home? Jae-yoon's home. When it comes to Jae-yoon's home, then index.html should work somehow, right? Index.html not found on this server somehow. Yeah, it should work somehow. So we'll handle it next week. Any other questions? Okay. What we will do next week is once you have a web system level web server, where is it? It should be var www html And under that directory, you can create whatever you want to do, right? There's a system level web pages. What we were trying to do at the last moment was, what about each individual web pages? So that you can create, you can manage it on your own, because that web page should be under your home directory. Where can we store that file? That is the issue. That should be first specified in that configuration file. The way it is specified, your Apache web server tries to find out each individual's web pages. Okay, that's what we will do next week. Next week we will focus more on security issues. Okay, rather than